Okay, ready to dive into 10 ideas for incorporating resilience micro practices into your daily routine. Now, this is the third video in my three-part series on building a resilience practice. If you missed the other two, be sure to watch them first as they contain all the context for today's video. Now, very quickly, why is having a resilience micro practice so important? Building resilience is about increasing your capacity to handle stress, adversity, and change. This means that no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it without numbing yourself, without relying on bad habits, and without feeling anxious or overwhelmed. Stress and challenges, especially when you're not resilient, affect you on every level. It affects your physical and mental health. It affects your relationships, your work, your mood, and so much more. So, having resilience improves your physical and mental health. It enhances your relationships. It makes achieving your goals easier and contributes to a more fulfilling life and work. So, that's why building resilience is so important. So, last week I talked about the five key ingredients for an effective resilience practice. So, just to quickly recap, these are picking a practice that regulates your nervous system. And I talk about that extensively in the last video, that can be used anywhere. So, you don't need props or a lot of preparation, is quick to produce results, and can be paired with an already established daily habit. Now, the other thing that's really important for an effective resilience practice is that it works for you. Now, like I said, you can watch the last video for more context. Now, the 10 resilience micro practices that I'm going to share today all meet the first four requirements, and then you can try them all to see what works best for you. Now, I'm not going to explain the science or reasoning behind these for today, but they're simple enough to experiment with for yourself. I would suggest trying all of these for 15 minutes each to get a good sense of the practice. Now, the first micro practice that I'm going to share with you is co regulation in nature. Now, being in nature regulates your nervous system automatically and it expands your resilience. So you can step outside on your lunch break or take a walk after dinner. Again, a 15-minute practice will help to build your resilience every day. The second resilience practice is co regulation with pets. Now, if you have a pet, you probably already do this, but you can make a more deliberate practice of it. See, pets and animals are natural co regulators, just like nature. If you don't have a pet of your own, borrow someone's pet, go to a petting zoo, or visit a pet store. It's a real quick boost of resilience. The third practice I want to share today is journaling. Now, journaling is a really powerful resilience practice backed by a lot of science. Now, I would suggest morning pages, which is really, before you start work or while you're having your morning coffee, just put pen to paper for 15 minutes. The goal is to write down any thought you have, even if it is, I have no thoughts, right? Just write every thought that comes to mind down. And that's really the key, is just to express everything. And that journaling process really helps build your resilience. The fourth practice I want to share with you is what I call a mindful shower. Now, the fancy word for this is interoception. It's really putting your attention on the sensations that are in and on the surface of the body. So while you're taking your daily shower, notice how the water feels on your body. So really pay attention to the sensations of the water on your body. Notice how you feel inside of your body and on the surface of your body as you are showering. So, again, this is a very easy practice to incorporate into things you already do each day. The fifth practice I call noticing details. Now, I use this exercise a lot in my articles and videos. So, if you want a more in depth explanation of this exercise, you can find a lot of information on my website at sonyastatman.com. Now, the fancy word for this is exteroception. So basically, this exercise is about noticing the details of objects that are close to you, objects that are far from you, small objects, big objects, and you're really paying attention to the shape and the texture of the objects, how the light reflects off of them, what they feel like if you pick them up, and any imperfections. Now, this is a great exercise to do with your morning coffee or even 15 minutes before an important meeting. I use this exercise a lot before my meetings to help me regulate my nervous system and just be ready to be really present in a meeting. Okay, so the sixth micro practice I want to share with you is a mindful walk. Now, what's cool is that you can use two of the things we've already talked about. You can combine interoception, which is putting your attention inside your body, and exteroception, when you're taking a mindful walk, and that's looking and noticing details. So you can kind of start as you're mindfully walking. You can notice how your body feels as you're walking. So, what sensations do you feel as you move? You feel your arms kind of brushing against your body? Do you feel your waist moving? And so you're really paying attention to those sensations. How does your feet feel each time they touch the ground? So, as you're walking, how does each foot feel when it kind of, touches the surface of the ground? So, you're noticing the sensations again in or on the surface of your body. Then you can focus on noticing the details around you while you're walking. How does the sky look? What trees or flowers are very interesting to you? You can notice the details of the buildings you pass or stop and examine some really small detail on the ground. So, again, you're just focusing that mindfulness inside and outside you. So, this mindful walk can be done in any lunch break. It can be done before a meeting. It can be done as part of your morning or evening routine. It's really easy to fit into your daily life. Okay, so the seventh micro practice is what I call a sensory pause. So, this is very similar to a mindful shower, but you're taking a minute to notice the sensations in your hands. And so, you're doing that while either you wash your hands or even when you rub lotion on them. So, you're doing something where you can really notice the sensation. I mean, even just doing this without any water or lotion can help you just to kind of notice how it feels to rub your own hands, how it feels with them sliding against each other. And so, that is a nice, what I call sensory pause. So that's a micro practice you can fit in throughout the day. It's also a really great one to use if you're experiencing heightened emotions, if you're feeling really overwhelmed, if you're in the middle of something, maybe an argument or something with a partner. You can just ask to be excused for a minute, go to the bathroom, rinse your hands, while you're under the water. You can also do things like rub your fingers, right? This is something that a lot of people use when they start to feel a panic attack coming on, is they just kind of rub their fingers, notice what that feels like. Okay, so the eighth micro practice is sound therapy. Now, you can curate your own playlist or use someone else's, but the key is to find sounds that relax you. Now, for some people, that's nature sounds. For others, that's piano music. For others, that's a guided meditation or even ASMR, right? Having whatever playlist works for you, having it handy and using it deliberately every day can help expand your resilience. Now, you can make it a habit to listen before you walk into a meeting or before you get on a Zoom call. Listen as part of your morning routine or also in preparation for sleep. It's a very simple process that really is very effective for regulating your nervous system and building resilience. All right. The ninth micro practice is sensory toys. Now, in the mental health toolkit, which is launching soon, we have a huge list of potential sensory toys. These are really things that you can grab and use anytime you need a little nervous system regulation or resilience. So think fidget toys, kinetic sand, thinking putty. You want to find the right texture for you. So, what texture relaxes you? Now, if you have kids, go try out their toys. Or go to a really cool toy store that has things that can be touched. Or you can go to a children's museum and touch things. I know it sounds silly, this is for kids, but it works really well for adults as well. And so you want to find that texture that really feels good. You can keep it on your desk at work or at home and play with it as you need to. So I personally really like kinetic sand. I think it has a really cool texture. I like that it's not too messy because it's kinetic sand, it's not just regular sand. So that's, one of my suggestions. All right. And the 10th micro practice is really go hug or talk to someone you trust. Now, connection is a huge part of resilience. But for a resilience practice, you want it to be someone you really trust, someone who can hold you and that you feel safe to be yourself with. So that's a really important part of making this a resilience practice. And, how can you make this a regular micro practice? Maybe have a daily cuddle practice with your partner or child, or establish a regular 15-minute call to check in with your closest friend. So, again, these are small micro practices that you can incorporate throughout your day. Now, I've personally used all of these resilience practices and supported my clients to use them too. If you want to see these practices in written form, visit my website, sonyastatman.com, and the article section under resources. I will have all three videos and a written list in one of the articles. Now, I hope this series has helped you to see how easy it is to establish daily micro practices for more resilience. If you ever need more personal support, I work one to one with clients to help them reduce stress, build resilience, and regulate their nervous system. You can always book a free intro call to see if this would be a good fit for you. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great week.